started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder. Couldn't help but wonder. I couldn't help but wonder. I couldn't help but wonder.
Welcome to City Girls Make Do.
Welcome to City Girls Make Do. That's what this show is, which you know already because you played the podcast. You heard the opening music.
Welcome, everyone. How you been? I'm your host, Alex, and I'm making pancakes for pussy.
Fuck, that was my nickname too. I'm Stephanie, and I don't know. I'm also making pancakes for pussy. We're all making pancakes for pussy. I don't give a shit.
Who cares? It's our show.
We're the same. I mean, that's probably the most honorable reason to make pancakes to me. So, I
just remembered a guy said he was going to make me vegan crepes.
Oh, that's sexy.
But that is making pancakes for pussy.
That is making pancakes for pussy, true. Just like really thin pancakes, but like crepes are just, they're fucking good. I love to just like, yeah.
I like pancakes too, but I can't believe, like Carrie, I am also dating an artist who wants to make me pancakes.
Yeah? It's pretty ideal.
Damn. Let's go, girls.
Fucking love pancakes and fucking love crepes. I love a crepe that's just like sugar. But just sugar and lemon juice. Like, that's the ideal crepe to me. Doesn't need to be extravagant.
That's the British way, right?
Yeah.
Like, and we call them pancakes. Don't call them crepes because fuck France. If you were having a pancake, you have loads of sugar and then just a squeeze of a lemon wedge over the top. That's
sexy.
it.
So what do you call thick pancakes then, if crepes are pancakes?
I think also pancakes, but like fluffy pancakes.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, like, they're the same. They're not the same, but like, you know.
They're just fluffy. Anyway, this show isn't about pancakes, unfortunately.
This episode is. That's the most important thing about this episode is pancakes to me. Because, like, everything else this episode, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
The pancakes were, like, that made me hungry. And I love pancakes. So, like, I don't know. And I don't know. Like, Charlotte's plot was, like, nothing, but also kind of weird. And then Samantha's plot sucked. And Miranda's, I was just like, this is awkward and cringe. And then it's like, then we're just left with Carrie and her pancakes. And I'm like, I guess I'll take this. Like,
yeah, I guess it's all we can have. I guess we should just get into it.
Yeah, so it's season 6, episode 13. Let There Be Light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like God.
Yeah.
That's what God said.
He said that when he made pancakes for pussy. So.
He said, let there be light and fluffy pancakes. For pussy.
Yeah.
So we start with Carrie. I swear to God we've had this pun before, where she's like, oh, a single girl is always waiting for the right male. And then she's like getting post. So like it's M-A-I-L instead of M-A-L-E. I hate this show. But she gets a letter from Alexander Petrovsky. And it's like he has like stationery and it says all like calligraphy, beautiful handwriting. Shall we go for a walk? Or would you like to go for a walk, I think it says. Which is very romantic. And they do go on a walk.
And it's been like 3 weeks since she saw him.
Yeah. She says, like, I didn't think you were going to call again. Like, I thought when I didn't sleep with you, you know, when I left you weren't going to call me.
He's just a busy fella. Yeah.
Yeah. And
he gets around a lot.
He gets around a lot, but he's like, oh, no. I was just in Amsterdam for work. You know, I've just been busy. It's nothing personal. Like, you could have called.
Yeah, you'd think he would have called. I just love how casual it is to be like, yeah, I was in Amsterdam for work. Like, just normal.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I get that, like, he's a famous artist, so, like, he would travel a lot, and he's probably doing shows here and there and whatever. But, like, you know, you can call. It's not that hard.
You'd think so. But they, like, sit down on a bench together, and he's got, like, chocolates for her in his pocket, and he's like, oh, reach in, and she's like, there's not a mousetrap in there, is there? And he doesn't really get that it's a joke. He's like, why would there be a mousetrap in my pocket? But then he starts, like, kissing her neck.
He is like, what are you talking about? Are you okay? Like, he's like, why would I do that to you? Like, he's so offended. He's like, what are you talking about? He can't comprehend it. He's just like, I'm making a joke. And he's like, oh, haha. Anyway, yeah, he got her chocolates, which is nice because American chocolates are dog shit.
Yeah, he got her some fancy European chocolates, and then he goes to town on her fucking neck in front of a bunch of children.
He eats her neck pussy.
Yeah!
Like, he is, like, really fucking going to town on her neck. And then, and, like, she says later, she's like, I would have fucked him on the park bench in front of children. Like, he is going hard with the foreplay.
He really is. And yeah, it's a very much daytime, like, Central Park, children running around them, and it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, I mean, I've had, like, makeout sessions in public, you know, but it's at night, really. Like, in a daytime is like a kiss, right?
Yeah, if it's, like, at a bar, I think it's kind of one thing, because it's kind of, like, later, the lights are dim, and it's not, like, extremely visible, but, like, at a park at, like, 2 p.m. is very, like, a lot. But then the girls go out and test perfumes, and Carrie's like, I've taken a lover.
Yeah, she's taken a lover, and she's like, I'm calling him my lover. I guess because he's European and older. Like, I get that, like, saying boyfriend or girlfriend is weird when you're, you know, older. And it's not like they're together long enough for her to say partner. So I get it.
But they haven't even fucked. So, like, why would you call someone you haven't fucked your lover?
Yeah, they haven't. It's not like, oh, you know, we're not really friends with benefits, but, like, we just sort of have a kind of a thing, and we slept. Like, I would call a guy my lover. Like, I would say, oh, I have a lover. But it would be someone I've slept with.
Yeah, because that kind of seems like what it means to me, kind of. Like, this is the person I'm intimate with, I guess. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just one read of it out of many, but, like, it kind of has an implication to me.
I think it's very much funny. It very much has an implication, and that implication is what the word means.
Yeah, well, they've met, like, twice. They went on so they've met 3 times. They've been on 2 dates. Mm-hmm. He's kissed her face and her neck.
Yes.
Her lips and her neck.
Yes.
Her face, lips, and her head neck.
Yeah, he ate out her neck. Like, if she had gills, his tongue would have been inside them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, big time.
And, like, it's just mad. It's just mad. So, yeah, they're, like, fragrance shopping, the gals. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I've taken a lover, Alexander Blotrovsky. And and, like, Miranda's like, oh, the old guy?
Yeah. And, like, so he's older than her for sure. He's not, like, ancient, but, like, Charlotte's like, he is sexy. Like, he's a sexy man. And Sam says the same thing, too, basically. She's like, yeah, I mean, he's, like, hot. And Carrie's like, okay, he's not 60. He's, like, his early 50s. So it's not like he's, you know, like, a senior citizen.
Yeah, I guess he's probably meant to be, like, 15 years older than her, which at their age is not weird.
Yeah, I feel like when you're, like, 38, that is just normal. Like, I feel like they're probably at pretty similar places in their lives, that it's just, like, it's more about if their personalities and lifestyles match up than anything, because, like, I don't know, it's whatever. But, and I honestly feel like he's not that much older than Big. Like, Big is at this point, what, like 46 or something? Like, it's like 5 years older than Big. It's like the same. I don't know.
It's not any weirder than if she was dating Big, because yeah, he's a little bit older than Big. And it's not like she's 22 and she's just started dating and she's dating a guy in her like in his 40s. Like, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's very different. Like, she's
been around the block.
Plenty experienced. Like, yeah, she's at a point in her life where she probably knows what she wants just as much as this guy who's like 50 does.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But Miranda also is like, she saw a picture of him because, like, Charlotte was like, I Googled him.
Yeah, she's like, I Googled him and I emailed a picture to Miranda because I wanted her to see your new boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. This old school Google that we got to see later. It's extremely good.
Oh, God, yeah, ancient Google. And Samantha is like, oh, well, that's the best age for men to date because, like, they've been around the block, they know how to use their cock, and it's not quite, like, shriveled and wrinkled up yet.
Yeah?
I guess.
I mean, I feel like you can easily make it to, like, 53 and not be experienced and not know what you're doing. So I feel like it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but given how many women he's been with based off of, like, what Samantha seems to know about his, like, Studio 54 days, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I guess that also couldn't mean anything, because someone could be with a million supermodels just because they're famous and, like, not have a fucking clue. So
I mean, like, I've dated men who are, like, plenty older than me who were shit in bed, and I've dated men who were, like, my age who were fine, who are perfectly adequate. Like, it just depends if you give a shit about how your partner is feeling, not really your age. But I know what Samantha means.
Yeah, for sure. And then they're, like, still looking at fragrances, and Miranda's like, I don't know what Steve's gonna like. And Samantha's just like, just buy Old Spice. Which is probably the funniest line of the episode to me.
Just cover yourself in dirt.
Yeah, Steve's gonna love it.
Who fucking cares? Make yourself smell like fucking, like cheesy fucking... Make you smell like Cheetos. He'll probably be like, ooh. Or, like, pizza rolls. He probably loves that smell.
He probably does. Like, dude doesn't even wipe his ass. Surely he is not going to care if you don't smell like anything or if you smell like shit. Because he literally has shit on his duty ass all the time. So, like, I don't know. The bar is pretty fucking low, Miranda. Yeah. But I guess she really wants to impress him or something. I have no idea. But, like, Carrie... is it Carrie who teases her or something, and then Miranda sprays apples and hay scent on her?
Yeah, it's and she's like, I'm gonna smell like apples and hay all day.
Terrible smell as someone who's allergic to hay, you know, the, like, real hay.
That's also the two things
hay.
Horses love the most.
Oh, fuck. Horrible. They do love those.
You would get eaten.
Maybe this is why I was born with, like, such an allergy to just, like, farm, like, hay and everything. Like, just whenever, like, when I used to live around farmland as a kid, I just fucking died every spring. It just fucking sucked. Like, hay fever, just grass allergies, just everything. It's terrible. I mean, nature sucks.
Nature does suck. My dad has hay fever. And literally every single summer, this man will come home and be like, I think I've got a cold.
Oh my God.
Every single week, he'll be like, I think I'm getting a cold. Like, my nose is blocked, my throat is itchy, and my eyes are watery. And I'm like, Dad, you have done this for the past 10 years. Like, you have no other symptoms apart from a sniffly nose. Is that? Oh, yeah. Remember how you have hay fever?
That's gonna be it. And it happens, like, at the same time every year. Okay, interesting.
And I also have hay fever. I know that today is a high pollen count.
Oh yeah, it's been terrible lately here. Like, I literally was up until almost 3 last night because my allergies were so bad and I couldn't stop sneezing. But, you know, normal.
It fucking sucks. I've woken up with a dry throat, like, every single day for the past week. And I was walking.
I hate it.
I was walking in the park the other day, and my legs just started itching.
Ugh, terrible.
Like, I just started itching everywhere, and I can't eat melon. because I'm allergic to fruit because of hay fever.
Oh,
It sucks.
it's terrible. Waking up with an itchy throat is the worst right now because you wake up and you're like, I have the virus.
Exactly.
And you're like,
I'm dying.
can't breathe, I'm coughing. Yeah, and then you're like, wait a minute, no, this is just the allergies that I have all the time. And then then you become less itchy as you like actually get up and drink some water, and then it's like, okay, maybe I'm not dying.
Yeah, you're like, I'm dying. I know I have like no other symptoms, but I'm dying. It's time to write my will. Get my will out from when I was 8. And yeah, goodbye everyone. And then so I don't blame my dad,
goodbye.
But he's been doing it for like the past fucking decade, so it's nothing new.
You can kind of blame him a little bit,
Yeah.
but
I blame him for plenty others, it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. So Charlotte's plot this week is fucking stupid, and I hate it, and it's nothing. She has like 2 scenes, and she has 3 scenes, I think, and they're all terrible. The first one, her and Anthony are like walking around in the park, and she's like talking about how she has to wait 2 months to get pregnant again, and how like, oh well, if I got pregnant, like what if I got a job and then I got pregnant, then it would be unfair to my employer if I had to leave. And just like
cares,
Matt was just like fart noise. Like, unfair to your employer. Oh no. Like, fuck your employer. What?
Who cares? Like, the real thing should be like, oh, I'll just get started and then I have to take loads of time off. Nah, get the benefits, babe. Scam the system.
Yeah.
But
God, I constantly think about like my coworker who was made permanent last September, at like the very start of September. And then it was like mid-October and she got pregnant. And I'm like, oh, good for you. You like got pregnant right after you got like benefits and mat leave, huh? Like, smart. Like, I stan.
We cannot help but stan.
Yeah.
But she's like, so she's walking with Anthony, and Anthony is like, I do not care. Which is so mean considering she had a miscarriage last week.
Yeah. It's a lot. Like, he's like boring.
He's like, shut up, stop fucking talking, I don't care. And she's like, that's a little bit mean. And then he tells her to look at like the light because there's like God rays going through a tree. She's like, oh, it's autumn. Well, no, she says fall.
When did it become autumn? Like, that's why you're going for a walk, isn't it? Like,
yeah. Do you have eyes?
This whole time it's been nice out, and then they see a blind man walks past them with like another person, and Charlotte just does her like able-bodied pity thing where she's like, is there anything in the world that's worse than not being able to see this beautiful fall day? I can't imagine a single thing worse than that.
Probably like dying. Like, I can think of
there's a lot of things worse.
I can think of plenty worse things than not being able to see like trees. Blind people have perfectly fulfilling and happy lives. It's extremely fucking able-bodied. And yeah, she's like, oh, wouldn't it be like, she just spends the whole time like, it would be so sad to be blind. So she is gonna volunteer to help the blind, I guess, which is
I guess
it's a noble thing to like work for a charity or something, and it makes sense. So like, okay, yeah, volunteer. You have plenty of money. You have plenty of free time. That's a good
she's in a place where she doesn't need to like make money. She just wants to have something to do, I guess, and. It's very much just like the first disabled person she sees in the park. She's like, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to help people. And it's just like, Charlotte, okay.
She remembered that disabled people exist.
Yeah, it's just really, it's just uncomfortable. Like it's barely a plot. And like I said, she has like 3 scenes this episode. Yeah. And they're just, I don't know.
They're not it. But yeah, it's just very patronizing. But we missed a scene actually, because we meant to talk about Steve and Miranda.
Right, we did. Yes, they're in the elevator and they kiss. And then Robert comes into the elevator because he still lives in the same building as them.
Yeah, and he's obviously like a bit annoyed. So he's like, and I think, like, if I remember correctly, this is the thing. I watched this episode, maybe like 2 hours ago? I don't remember anything that happened. But she sort of says, like, oh, Robert. And he's like, yeah, everything's great. Everything's fine. And he's just making little passive-aggressive comments at them. He clearly is pissed off about it, which, like, can you blame him?
No. Absolutely not. It's just like, especially the way everything happened, it wasn't, I mean, I don't know if Miranda told him we kissed, well, like Steve and I kissed while we were still dating, or if she just broke up with him and didn't say anything. But regardless, the situation just kind of sucks to like, and they had like just kissed in the elevator right before it opened and he came in, and it's just like,
yeah,
I hate it.
The situation, it sucks. And then Carrie is getting a bikini wax from a Russian lady because she's like, oh, I wanted to sleep with Alex, but I wasn't ready down there. I don't think the dude cares.
I really don't think he cares.
He's
like,
European.
Like, if he's European and he's like 50, like, I feel like he just isn't gonna give a shit. But
no.
I mean, whatever, it's fine. Like,
if you're fucking a 53-year-old man, congrats to him. He can't complain.
No. And it's just, whatever. I mean, it's valid to get a bikini wax.
If
but
you
like,
want to. But, like...
If you want to.
You don't have to.
Yeah. And she's getting her pussy waxed. And, yeah, so since the lady's Russian... Well, she assumes, kind of, because she's like, you're Russian, right? And...
the lady is like, yeah.
Yeah.
So she says... Okay, how do I say hello in Russian? And she says hello in Russian. And she's like, how do I say thank you in Russian? And she says thank you. And the lady's like, you're welcome. And she rips her pussy open.
Yeah. I love that she had to have this as a scene instead of just like... Googling it, because especially we know Google exists at this point in history because Charlotte Googled it, and Google is a verb already in like 2002 or whatever the fuck year this is, and she could have done that, but no, we had to have this like Russian bikini wax lady. The whole time I was just thinking about Zoolander, basically.
Google is canon.
Google is canon
because like I was watching Twilight the other day, and I was like, when Bella Googles vampires, and when Edward
does
is
she
like,
use Bing?
Does she use Bing?
I don't know. I just said, does she?
No, she used
I don't know.
She used Google because Edward was like, it's a thing. Google it. When she's like, why did you not get killed when a car went into you? And he's like, it's an adrenaline rush. Google it. So she does. So Google is canon in Twilight and in Sex and the City, so they can
same
both
universe.
Hypothetically take place in the same universe.
I think so. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do love the idea that Edward has just like watched technology just boom over the last like 100 years and been like, wow, technology is amazing. You can just Google it. Like, and he's probably like a boomer who like doesn't know how to use a computer.
I think, Carlisle is just like, what the fuck did you say? I mean, I guess Carlisle should technically be the most tech savvy because, like, he's a doctor, so he has to stay relevant with that shit.
Yeah.
Like, he would have to go to medical school, like, he must have to go to medical school, like, every 20 years or something. So,
yeah, so it doesn't look like, oh shit, you went to medical school in like 1940, but you're like currently like not 90 years old.
He's like, oh, I have to wash my hands. That sounds fake.
True.
He's like, what the fuck is a germ, bitch? Like, you get it from bad smells. No. But like, yeah, I don't know. Google is canon.
It is in this universe, and yet she still has to ask her Russian bikini wax lady about, you know, the Russian words instead of just looking them up literally anywhere. If she Googled it, she could find more than 2 words in Russian.
But maybe Google Translate isn't there, so she can't get it like said aloud, so she knows how to pronounce it like a robot
I'm sure
lady.
there's like an Angel Fire page that's like a list of all the most common like Russian words and like a really shitty table with like a hilarious stupid background, and like I don't know, I'm sure that existed.
Yeah, I'm sure it like played the USSR like national anthem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it had like a page counter. Yeah.
This is again canon, internet canon. Yeah, and then we go back to Miranda, and she's taking the stairs. She's like, right, I can avoid Robert if I just take the stairs. But then he also takes the stairs because he had the same idea. And
why are they always leaving at the same time?
I don't know. And it's like, it's not like they're both going to work at the same time, which would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like, I don't know, they're just bumping into each other. It's fate or whatever. Because he's coming back from a jog, so I don't know. And she's like, "Oh, Robert, hi," and he's being a dick.
Yeah, well, she's like, "I never meant to hurt you, Steve, and I just fell back in love."
Ugh.
She just says it like so dramatically, and she's like, "I never would have started anything with him if I thought that, you know." Like, I never would have started anything with you if I thought that me and Steve would ever get back together. And then Robert starts being like, yeah, it's okay. You'll just get a bill for, like, all the services owed because of, like, you know, you're really busy. And I came in to, like, fix your sink and fix your stuff and stuff so you didn't have to hire anyone. And she's just like, okay, Robert, like,
he like,
seriously.
I cooked you dinner. I fucked you. Remember how you were like, and then he, like, starts miming her when he was fucking her, which would be mortifying. And he's like, oh, Robert, that's the deepest any man has ever been.
He does. And he's like, he basically says that to her he was like fast food and a fast fuck. But then he's like, well, I wasn't really a fast fuck because I was nice and slow.
Just how you like it.
Yeah, this is imagine if you did this in public and not just like in a stairwell. It's fucking mortifying.
But like,
and,
that's the other thing, is they're like, people's apartments are nearby. They're not outside their own apartments.
This is true.
So I just imagine someone just listening in, like, what the fuck is happening outside?
Well, I lived in a building once that was like the suite that was right next to the stairwell. And I think the stairwell, since it's got like concrete walls, will be like pretty sound insulated because I never heard anything from the stairwell, I think. But like from the hallway you could if you weren't in your apartment. So I don't know. But Miranda gets back to her apartment and Steve's there and she's just like, okay, Robert has custody of the elevator now. You're lucky I didn't give him custody of Brady.
Yeah. And he's like, well, why would you do that? We have a baby with a stroller and I'm moving my stuff in next week. And she's like, I know, but it was just so embarrassing. And he brought up how he was the deepest any man has ever been. And
why?
Steve is... you can just see, it's like that Simpsons bit where it's like, if you pause slowly enough, you can see where his heart breaks in half.
Yeah. Well, like, why would she tell him this? Like, why would she, like, you can just say he was antagonizing me a bit and, like, it sucked and I really wanted to get out of there. You don't need to tell him exactly what he said if it's something that's going to maybe make him feel kind of uncomfortable or bad.
I mean, it's Miranda, though.
Yeah, this is true.
And, I mean, it's so bad that like, he's like, how bad was it? And she's like, give me a hug, which for Miranda is a big thing.
That is a big thing, yeah.
And then as soon as she says the stuff about him being deep inside of her, Steve needs the hug.
Yes. Jesus. But yeah, so that's it for now with them. We go back to Carrie and she gets to the Russians' massive place. It's fucking huge. It's like the entire floor, and then there's also an upstairs.
Yeah, because, okay, he says, like, one of the sexiest sentences in the world, there's my studio, which is like, oh, you have a studio, right? Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, which means he has the whole floor of this apartment building to himself. And he says, like, oh, it was an old sewing, like, I think it was like an old sewing factory or something. So it's huge and like industrial and gorgeous, has these massive windows. There's an upstairs. He has a studio space. It's gorge.
Yeah, it's amazing. And she's kind of just like, oh, okay. Like, he's like, do you want me to make you a martini or get you some fruit? And she's just like, show me the upstairs instead. So they go upstairs and.
Oh, this was disgusting.
Yeah, she kind of like takes her dress off kind of slowly. It's like kind of half down. And then he just like starts going right for her ass.
I mean, he eats. I mean, okay, he eats ass. Great for him. Great for her. Wonderful. But like, he goes from like kissing to like immediately starting kissing her lower back, which is not. I feel like, you know, start at the neck, move to a boobie. And then,
yeah, I feel like that's such a weird place to, like, it's, I don't know, I feel like it's not bad, it's just, like, not sexy? I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever had my lower back kissed.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think so.
If I have, it clearly wasn't memorable enough.
No. And, yeah, so he just goes for it, and,
hell yeah.
I didn't know that people from his generation ate ass.
Maybe they do in Russia.
Maybe they do. Damn.
I thought it was a millennial thing. I thought millennials invented it.
No, it was invented by the USSR, apparently. So
that's why communism works.
Yeah.
And then, so she wakes up in the morning and he's not there, but there's a little note that says, I'm making breakfast. So she's like, oh, and she comes down. Well, first she comes down like her underwear and like his shirt over the top. And then she hears that there's people like in his study, but like everything's open plan, who are just like shouting down the phone in different languages. So she sort of like covers herself up a bit, which like, thank God she didn't walk in naked.
Yeah, you would expect that, like, if other people were going to be there, he probably would have left something on the note that was like, oh, put some clothes on before you come down.
Yeah, or stay in bed and I'll bring it up.
Yeah, something like that. But no, she comes down and they just kind of look at her for like half a second and then they just keep going. Like, it's completely normal to them. Like, this is just completely, they're unfazed.
Yeah.
And then this is completely normal to him too, because he doesn't think anything about it. He's just like, oh, sit down. I made breakfast. And he's made pancakes for her.
Pancakes? Yeah, he has. And he's set up like the table nice. And he's like got French press coffee and it's really sweet. And she's like, oh, there's only a placemat for one, so he's not staying. And he's like, oh no, I have to go to Amsterdam, but you stay.
Yeah, you know, normal, just going to Amsterdam. And then he like kind of briefly introduces her to like the staff who's there with him. And they look at her for like a millisecond and wave, and then they just keep talking.
Yeah.
And
they do not care.
She's like eating her pancakes while one of them comes over and starts speaking French with him, and just like, all right, sure.
Let's party. And that's that. And then it's her talking to Samantha about it. And Samantha's kind of like, he probably does that to all the girls he brings home.
Yeah,
because
pretty much.
If they're not fazed by it, presumably he does that a lot.
Yeah, probably. It makes sense. And Carrie kind of is like trying to brush it off, like, yeah, it doesn't matter. He probably has been with a million women before, and it's whatever. I guess it shouldn't bother me yet or anything. And Samantha's like kind of having a problem where she's talking about Smith, and she's like, I don't know if I should blow him or burp him.
Because he's a baby.
Because he's a baby. And Carrie's like, he's almost 30. Like, he's not a child. And
No.
Samantha's like, I don't have an old man to fuck me anymore, like Richard.
Oh, Richard. I miss Richard, who cheated on you with like a 24-year-old.
Fuck Richard.
That Richard.
Fuck him.
Yeah. And we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we go to Carrie writing. And okay, there's a lot of outfits this episode.
Yeah?
And my computer doesn't do screenshots very well. Otherwise, I would have taken loads. But she's wearing Uggs, which is like this was like 2004. So I feel like this was like an early Ugg moment.
Probably, yeah. That sounds about right.
And she's wearing arm warmers.
Yeah, she sure was. That seems like a thing I didn't really realize that, like, normal people did. It kind of just makes me think of, like, emo kids wearing, like, leg warmers on their arms that were, like, striped hot pink and black.
Yeah, or the net ones, the fishnet ones.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that's kind of more like of a scene thing than an emo thing, but that's, like, pedantic, I guess. But,
That kid.
yeah.
And she's like, and she's writing, and she's like, okay, so I know that Alex has slept with plenty of women, but I'll just give him a quick Google. And she finds a list of his many lovers. I guess there's like a fan page that someone started. And it reminds me of the weird shit I found on the internet, or that has been pointed out to me, of like, have you ever found, I think there's one, and it's like these women have written, like, groupies have written like lists of like reviews of rock stars. There's one of rock stars and there's one of wrestlers that they've slept with, and they've written reviews, and they're like 4 out of 5 stars. It reminds me of that. Like, it's like the weird sex shit, and they're always like Angel Fire. It's always like archived like websites which were
Fucking
made
GeoCities page.
Yes, people were like, all right, this is everyone I slept with. Girls log in, like, and it's weird. It reminds me of that. But he's like, he's a sculptor.
Yeah?
It's not like he's like famous. I guess
he's not like
famous,
Mick Jagger or something.
No, exactly. It's not like he's fucking David Bowie. Like, okay, yeah, he's famous, but he's not like that famous. I can't. Apart from like Jeff Koons, I can't think of another like famous sculptor who would be even that. Man, you found a fucking fan page that was like written by people that like fuck Jeff Koons.
Yeah, I guess.
That would be weird, right?
Yeah, it would be. I love, though, that the page is called Alexander the Great, the many loves of Alexander Petrovsky.
Yeah, I hope that, like, when I'm famous, I have a fan page dedicated to my many lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had a few. But not that many. But enough for a fan page.
It just goes on your Wikipedia page now. Like, you just go on your Wikipedia page under, like, there's like a affairs section, and you can be like, personal life.
Love it. Personal life, and then just has affairs subheader. Entanglements, that's a very timely recent reference if you're following the Jada Pinkett Smith scandal.
Oh my god.
Love it. Yeah. And she says this thing which my friend said to me once, which is apparently when women sleep with someone, it releases hormones that make them attached to them.
Yeah, so is she just talking about like pheromones, kind of? Like,
I think it's like hormones, like endorphins or something, like, because it's a very intimate act, so I guess it makes sense. But also, I've definitely slept with people that, like, I never want to see again, and the sex has been good, and I'm like, oh, I fucking can't stand you.
Even just like immediately after, it's like, it's not even just like, oh, in hindsight, no. It's like, no, that can definitely just not. I don't really know how pheromones work, but I don't know.
Not like you're a chemist. I mean, that's biology, though. Isn't it?
That's some biology shit. I don't know. It's like, that sounds like biochemistry to me. Who knows? I don't know.
I'm
just that fucking meme that's like, I'm a Leo, what sign are you? I don't believe in that made up bullshit. And then it's just like a picture of like a fucking, like, of the like some biology cycle, and I'm like, I'm the meme that basically is like, this is fake, but it's about biology.
The person, you're the opposite. You're someone being like, oh, what blood type are you? And you're like, I don't believe in that bullshit. And then and then it's a picture of astrology, and it's you going, so true.
Yeah, exactly. Every time we see one of those memes, Matt always reads the so true in the exact same voice. So every time I read it, my brain goes like, so true, like in the exact same voice every time.
Can we get Matt to say so true, please? Just for
he's in the bedroom on the phone, I think. But it would be really good.
It would be so good. Archival purposes.
Yeah, I have to come in and get him to do it some other time. Maybe when he gets off the phone. But yeah, that's me. Except for instead of astrology, it's like the Homestuck signs on them, and I'm like, oh, the hemo spectrum, so true.
That is actually you. I'm the
that is
girl
me.
asking about astrology in those memes. I'm like, I'm a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I'm going full deep. I'm like, I'm a Virgo with a Leo stellium. What's your sidereal? And when you're sidereal and you're tropical.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. Yeah, I technically only have lovers and not boyfriends. But then Carrie's asking a question.
Yeah, she's typing and she's like, where is this all going? With men, even when we try to keep it light, how do we end up in the dark?
Wah. This is, again, loose.
It's a stretch.
tie. It's a fucking... Carrie, did you hurt your arm? Did you dislocate your shoulder with that reach?
Because it's like, yeah, it's... Okay, so she's in the dark about... She presumes that he has many other lovers at the same time, and she's assuming that that's true, so she's apparently in the dark about this. She's not, spoiler. Then there's Charlotte, who's literally in the dark because she puts on a blindfold later in the episode. And then there's a line at the end about Samantha seeing the light about Smith. It's such a fucking stretch. I really don't understand. Why do they force it? Why don't they just name the episode something normal, like Love is Blind or something? I don't know.
That would make sense. That would be a title that makes sense.
Like, it wouldn't be good.
No,
but it would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, because then they'd have to do a whole fucking thing where, like, they go to a restaurant and, like, it's one of those ones where it's in the dark and Carrie starts talking to a guy and she's like, oh my god, he's so cute. And then she meets him and, like, he's ugly, but then she actually likes him anyway. But then he has some weird problem that means they can't date.
Yeah, that is pretty much how it would happen.
Did it for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So we go to Smith and Sam, and okay, Smith is wearing a t-shirt that says fuck yoga on it. Love that.
Yes! What the fuck? I love it. It's good.
I love yoga and I want to wear that t-shirt to a yoga class. I want a sports bra that says fuck yoga on it.
Yeah,
So
it's really good to me.
To wear to my yoga classes. and then Samantha is wearing like a lace, like Chinese, like keep house style top with like,
and there's nothing under it.
Nothing under it, and then like silky pajama trousers.
Normal.
Wig flu. This couple,
yeah.
I love them.
It's truly a great pairing. I love it.
But he's like, "Hey babe, I got invited to this 30 under 30 party. Should I go?" And Samantha's like, "No, don't go. It's fucking bullshit." And he's like, "Well, my agent and my manager really want me to go. Can you just look at the invitation, tell me if it's shit?" Smith is so cute in this scene. He looks like a puppy.
He is a puppy. I don't understand. Is he like nominated for it or is he just invited?
I think he's on the list. He's a 30 under 30 media luminary.
He is, exactly.
And he's on the list, I guess. So he gives an invitation to Samantha, and it says hosted by Richard Bright. If you don't remember, Richard is the guy that Samantha slept with, she was in love with, and then he cheated on her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's just like, oh, Richard Wright. He's a very important name in the business, and why don't you go and I come with you? Yeah,
and that's all she says. That's all. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a big player in the hotel business, so yeah, you should go. No, was in love with him.
Yeah, it's... you should probably tell him and be like, well, if you go, then, like, this might be good for your career, but maybe I shouldn't go. Yeah, no, Samantha, done. Angry Chihuahua face.
She clearly has ulterior motives because she wants to go, and she's gonna go with Smith to fuck Richard.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's not like she went to the party and she bumps into him and she's like, oh, let's have a drink and a chat. And then one thing leads to another. No. She knows he's going to be there. So she's going to go with Smith?
Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially it.
What the fuck?
And like before they got there, I was just like, okay, this is going to be kind of awkward. It's going to be like Richard's there, but I kind of forgot what happened in the episode. So like, I didn't think it was going to go that bad, but like, it sucks. This fucking sucks.
It sucks.
So,
You hate to see it.
you hate to see it.
Fuck Samantha. Okay, so Charlotte goes for an interview to be a guide for the blind, and the lady there suggests that she walks around blindfolded because she's like, this is a serious commitment. So we suggest that people understand, or at least have a bit of an idea of what it's like to be blind, so you know, which is okay. That makes sense, right? And like, my mum used to work for, like, she used to volunteer at like a guide dog charity, and so she knew a lot of blind people. And I also feel like what Charlotte is doing, and the people there would be like, oh, you're incredibly patronizing, so no, you can't work here.
Yeah, you would think, because okay, so incredibly that, but she's also like doing the interview and she's like, yeah, well, like the doctor says I can't get pregnant for another couple months, so I'm like, you know, looking for something to do in the meantime, and then like, so it's like patronizing, but then it's also like, oh yeah, and then a couple months from now I might be pregnant anyway, and you know, like, just fuck off.
Yeah, she's like, this is a serious commitment because, you know, you'll be helping someone and they will be relying on you to keep them safe. And she's like, yeah, but you know, if I get pregnant, adios.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's also weird that they were like, have your friend walk you around while you are blindfolded, instead of being like, what we do is we get like one of the people who volunteers with us to do it so that you can kind of get the experience, but then also see what it's like to have someone around with you. So like, maybe you know what it's like, but also what kind of things are helpful or beneficial for them to be doing as a helper.
Yeah.
And
maybe someone who is sighted who works for the company could be the person who was blindfolded and being led. And then Charlotte could guide them and they can give them pointers of like, okay, this is what's helpful, this is what isn't.
You'd think.
Might be more beneficial instead of...
Yeah.
And also this lady says maybe in a park. And then Charlotte's like, oh, department store that's full of people. That's a good place to be, to not have a sight for the first time.
Yeah. A normal good place to do it. And it's also just like weird because when they do the thing, like when her and Carrie practice it, it's like Carrie has to walk off for a second, and then Charlotte isn't like, okay, well, you're not around to help me, so I'm just gonna take it off for a second and, you know, I'll start when you get back. Yeah. She leaves it on, and then it's, I mean, this is the next scene, I guess, isn't it? Like,
yeah, so they're walking through a department store and they're gonna do the blindfold thing. And yeah, she puts like, first of all, she has a Burberry one. Love that. And the lady is like, don't take it off even if you're uncomfortable, because you need to know what it's like to not have your sight. And like, she puts it on and Carrie gets a phone call and it's from a European line, so she realizes that it's Alexander, and she goes to take the phone and then she has to go away because it's breaking up, there's not enough reception. And like, Charlotte knows that Carrie isn't there, so instead of being like, oh, I'll take it off because I'm not actually blind, and it's probably dangerous for me to not be able to see and also not have the skills that a blind person has to navigate around, she leaves it on and wanders off.
Yeah, well, I guess she kind of wanders off because like there's like a bunch of people who basically start walking around her, and this is so unrealistic. Like, if you see someone just standing there, you're not going to basically walk into them.
Yeah, also, especially if you see if they have a blindfold on. I mean, maybe it's New York, so people are like, fuck off. But you probably will try to avoid walking into them.
Yeah, it's not like she's standing right at the end of an escalator or something where people like have to walk right into her. So like, I don't know, she kind of walks around a little bit and she's just like, can't see anything, and she like walks into this shoe rack thing, and then she does take her blindfold off and she sees like these shoes on sale, and then she looks up and she sees like, because Carrie's off her phone call now, and she sees Carrie just trying on shoes.
This is the most irresponsible behavior we've seen in a while.
Terrible friend. What the fuck? Like,
she's like,
Charlotte was yeah.
She couldn't see, and she's just like, oh, I thought it's better if you just found me. And it's like a sale on shoes, which normally you're like, oh, we need to find Carrie. I wonder where she'd be. Oh, she's probably getting shoes. Haha. But like, she can't see.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Also, this is Charlotte's last scene of the episode, by the way.
Yeah.
This is the end of her plot for the episode. That's it.
I was going to say, also, the guy selling her shoes is Andy Cohen.
Really?
Who does,
I didn't notice that.
He does, like, all the Real Housewives stuff. So I was like, Andy?
I see.
Although I do think Real Housewives of New York is just, like, real life Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Including cameos from Candace Bushnell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole... Have you ever seen the clip where this woman is like, I'll tell you how I'm doing. Not well, bitch. She's saying that to Candace Bushnell.
Oh, I love that. Good shit.
Not well, bitch. It's iconic. But yeah, that's her last thing in the episode. That is her non-plot for this entire episode. We love you, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Then we have Samantha. Well, we have our first bit of Samantha. She doesn't go quite off the edge yet. She's going to the party, and they're in the line, and she says to Smith, like, just go to the front. And he's like, I don't like pushing to the front. I'm baby. And she's like, you're on the fucking list. So they go to the front.
Men will say I'm baby when they're like 30. Me.
It's like, oh, I'm baby. Is a 30-year-old man. We love it. And he is like...
We do.
Well, I mean, Matt is baby. And I mean, like, he's not 30, but, like, he's nearly there, right? I don't know how old Matt
Like,
is.
close. 28.
That's nearly 30. He's baby.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's true. Matt, can you give us a so true?
So true!
Thank you.
That's exactly how I read it in my voice. So, in my head, I mean. Oh, I'm tired. Yeah, so they go to the front, and then he's like, oh, I'm Smith, Jared, and then Sam is like, and then you hear Richard going, Samantha Jones, and...
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
We hate it. Fire, death, prison. And he brings them in, and it's so awkward because it's like Samantha's not even with Smith, because like she walks in and then Samantha's like, oh, he's with me.
Yeah, because he lets her in. Like, he lifts up the velvet rope and then he puts it down for Smith, and Smith is like, excuse me? And that's when Sam has to be like, oh, he's with me. And then they're like, Sam and Richard are sitting at the bar and they're talking and they're sharing a scotch, and he's like, oh, you know, you were the one that got away, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, Smith comes over and he's like, hey, babe, what's going on? Who's this guy? And she's like, oh, this is Richard. And it basically comes out that, like, they had a thing.
Yeah, she's like, we used to go out. And then it's like basically right after they say that, a bunch of screaming women come up and are like, Smith!
Yeah, they're like, oh, Smith, apparently Paulie's snorting pretzels, which sounds like fun.
Polly's snorting pretzels? Is that what you said?
That's what the women say.
All right. That sounds like something you'd say on Riverdale. Like,
yes.
that's like, sounds like one of the made up drugs or something.
Pretzels.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess he's like blowing them out his nose. I feel like it's snorting out and not in.
Okay.
Or he's crushed them up and he's snorting them like it's a line of drugs.
I guess so. This is just what people under 30 do because they're animals.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, you better go. Porny snorting pretzels. Ha 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 ha. And yeah, Sam tells Richard that like she's kind of seeing Smith. Like he's just, but she makes it like, oh, he's just kind of a plaything.
Yeah, because the conversation like starts out when he's like, oh, how long have you been babysitting for? And then she's like, who are you to talk when you have your like party posse of like 20-year-old women?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, she's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like,
she is right.
He is fucking like, yeah, like 20-year-olds. Really?
Yeah, and his thing is just like, well, I have to stay cool and know what's hip for the hotels or something. I don't even remember what the fuck he says. It's fucking bullshit, though. And it's like...
Yeah, it's rubbish. But that's the scene. And then Steve and Miranda are moving, like, Steve's stuff in. And his TV is smashed. Like, it's like at, like, the lobby area. And it's been smashed. And they're like freaking out because she's like, oh, it was Robert. He's in love with me. He's crazy in love with me. And then the Beyonce song starts playing in my head every single she says that like twice this episode, and I was like, da, 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 da. You know.
And it's so dramatic when she says it. It's just like you can feel it, like she's trying her hardest to just act her ass off, and it's like, chill.
Yeah, suddenly
fine.
like the camera looks like it's like in Gone with the Wind. Like, I don't know what it is about like the angle or like the lens they have on, but she's like, Steve, please be gentle with him. It's so much.
He's like, I'm taking the elevator upstairs to talk to Robert about this because this is too much, Miranda. And like, they have literally no evidence. It's literally just like, this was in the lobby and Steve's name was on the box. So put two and two together, it must have been Robert. And then Steve goes, he takes the elevator up, and then he knocks on Robert's door and he opens it and he's like, hello? Like, what? Steve's just like, look, I want to talk to you about Miranda. And then we see these two like sexy ladies walking around in the background of his
like,
apartment.
Little sexy PJs. And Robert's got like a robe on and he's like, what about Miranda? And Steve's like, we're really sorry.
I'm sorry. She's sorry. We're sorry. Okay, goodbye. And then he leaves and goes back downstairs. And he's like, Robert's not going to be bothering us anymore.
Yeah. And she's like, is everything okay? You look upset.
Is he mad? And he's like, yeah, he's pretty upset, Miranda. And it's just like, Carrie's voiceover is just like, yeah, Steve thought that it'd be better to just lie to Miranda about this and like not tell her about, I don't know. Why would you bother lying about this? This is so stupid.
I guess, I don't know. I mean, I guess he had some girls around. Like, I think he's moved on, babes. It wasn't him. Like, he was clearly busy, you know. But I think because Steve wants to look tough.
I guess so, but what's going to happen the next time she runs into him in the elevator? And then he's just like, I thought that you gave me the elevator and you were taking the stairs. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. But that's their whole story this week, I guess. And then we go, I guess, tied up nicely, badly. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
We go back to Carrie for like 1 second, and she goes to the Russian's place, and he got her clogs in Amsterdam, I guess.
Yeah, because she makes a joke about it. She's like, oh, the land of the wooden shoes.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if someone gave me clogs, I'd be like sick.
Yeah, me too. I'd be like, oh, I would put them on my feet immediately. I would dance around in them. My mum made the comment
apologize. Yeah.
So, I was just going to say, my mum made the comment the other day that every time I wear shoes with a hard sole, I like tap dance on the floor.
Oh my god.
Because I like the sound it makes, so.
Oh, I like it too. What I was going to say is I would have to apologize profusely to the person who lives below me if I wore clogs in my apartment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
But that's like the whole scene.
I just want to put clogs on. I'm sorry.
They're cute. I like them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is the whole scene. And then we have Sam.
Back at the club. Yeah.
So she's basically about to go upstairs with Richard, and Smith comes over and he's like, babe, like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, she says, well, Richard wants to show me one of the suites upstairs. And he's like, well, can I come? And she goes, no. And she breaks up with him.
Yeah, she's basically just like, look, it's been really fun what we've been doing, but like, where is this going? You play with your friends and I'll play with my friends. And then she goes upstairs with him.
It's painful. Like, ouch.
Yeah.
She really, and it's brutal.
Yeah. And like, when she's saying this to him, Richard's just like, come on, babe. Like, come on, sexy. Like, let's go upstairs. And it's
He's
just
like, come on, gorgeous. Let's go upstairs.
Extremely cringe. I died. And yeah, they fuck in the hotel suite and it just looks so joyless. It's like, is this what you wanted?
I guess. It's like, it's weird. It's sad. She's just like, just feeling nothing.
Yeah. And then she comes back downstairs after, and Smith is just sitting outside the elevator waiting, like at a chair. And he's like, I just wanted to make sure you got home safe tonight. And Samantha's just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate that I did this to you. And like, he takes her home. And this is where Carrie like makes a stretch and is like, Samantha finally saw the light. Or it's like Smith would be there for her even in the dark and she saw the light. It's some bullshit like that. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, it's very sweet of Smith, but
yes.
Also, like, she shouldn't have to. Like, he shouldn't have to stick around with her.
No. Like, he's a great guy and deserves better. Like, that sucked.
Yeah.
This really just bummer of a plot that I didn't like.
No.
But that's it. That's the last scene she gets. Then we go back to Carrie for the rest of her plot, and that's the end. So she's, like, in bed with Petrovsky, and I guess looks like they just had sex, and she kind of, like, realizes that this whole situation is, like, not for her, because she keeps getting so worked up in her head about the fact that he's, like, been with so many other women, and she, like, thinks he's still seeing lots of other women at the same time as her, even though she has, like, literally nothing to back that up right now. And, like, he gets out of bed, and she gets changed, and then she, like, decides, like, I'm not that kind of girl, and she's gonna go she finds him welding. Okay. Just in his apartment welding. Normal.
He's a
Well,
sculptor.
he's fucking sick, though.
Welding is sick, I agree, and I know he's a sculptor, but it's just weird to see someone welding in their own apartment.
I guess. My grandfather was a welder.
She basically is just like, well, I wanted to thank you before leaving, and, like, this has been really lovely, but I just, like, don't think I'm cut out for, you know, like, pancakes and other ladies. And he's like, okay, well, there's pancakes, but there's not other ladies. Like, what?
Yeah. And oh my god, and she's also wearing the outfit from the finale of Friends that Rachel wears.
Oh my god, she is! I was like, yeah, no, it's like the white button-up shirt with, like, the black kind of vest over it kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's the I got off the plane outfit.
Yeah, it is.
I got off the plane. You know.
This probably predates that, though, doesn't it? Maybe?
Siri? I don't have an iPhone. When? Because this was... probably. I mean, I guess it was the fashion at the time.
Yeah, that's also true.
Ended in 2004. Oh, but this was in September 2004, so this was after. But I don't know if it was filmed after.
Well, you're on thin fucking ice, Darren Star. So, once again, almost was like Darren Criss. No, not that one. The other one. Yeah. So then, I don't know. Then she's like, why do you like me? And he's like, well, why do you like me? And she says, well, you make good breakfast, which is, like, valid.
Yeah. That is true. That is reason enough to stay with someone, I suppose. Yeah. And, then she's like, oh, so what is this? Like, I guess talking about the sculpture he's going to make. And he's like, it's too early to tell. Do you get it?
Do you get it? It's about their relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the end. So, it's fine. It was an episode. Honestly, I was gonna say this is a filler episode in some ways, but, like, given the Samantha plot, it kind of isn't. Like,
yeah,
but
it's big for Samantha.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else is just like, okay. It's filler for everyone else. And by big for Samantha, I mean, she's at the fucking bottom of our rankings, right?
Oh, for sure. For fucking sure. Absolutely the bottom for me. Like, it was hard for me to like any of them this week, but Samantha by far is at the bottom of my ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trash.
And then after, I mean, Charlotte just did fucking nothing. And then when she was doing stuff, she was just being like extremely patronizing about the disabled. Like, she's just like, I gotta make sure I help blind people because they can't function without me. And it's like, you're literally just doing this to feel better about yourself. And it's just, I don't know. It's just not a great reason to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a non-plot.
Really it's extremely self-centered. Yeah. And it's, so I would agree.
Yeah. I'll probably put her third, and then fuck, I don't know. I did kind of like the melodrama of the whole like Miranda Steve Robert thing, and like Robert was really funny. Like, it was really hard to watch, but like just his whole thing was kind of funny to me, and I'm so that like made it more interesting than the Carrie plot to me.
Yeah, I love how dramatic she was. I appreciate that. She was at a 10.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm going to put Miranda first and Carrie second, but just because Miranda's plot was more interesting than Carrie's, not even because she was more valid. Although Carrie did leave Charlotte at the fucking blindfolded at the mall and went to go try on shoes. So I guess she wasn't very valid this week.
I don't think anyone was valid this week, honestly. I feel like everyone was just on their shit. Like, everyone was back on their bullshit.
Yeah, pretty much. I would just obliterate this episode if I could. It just didn't add anything to the story to me that was good. So,
yeah.
But yeah. So we don't have any questions, but if you do want to send us questions for next week, you can send them to tumblr.com. citygirlsmakedo.tumblr.com/ask. Send us questions about everything. Doesn't need to be about like the specific episode. Just send us things to answer, because we haven't had questions in a couple of weeks, probably because I put out question calls immediately before recording because I'm an idiot.
I mean, so let's share the blame. I forget until we are done recording, and I'm like, until we get to this point in the recording, I'm like, oh yeah, it's fine, but send us stuff in, because I like to answer questions. I fucking forgot to do trivia. I told you last week I was going to get trivia, and then I didn't. Fuck's sake.
I'm a failure. It's fine. I'll do it next time. It's fine. I'm normal. It's good. Anyway, moving on. You can give us money on Patreon. Want to
give your failed daughters money on Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. You can give us $1 a month to be a haymower. It gives you a special Discord role, access to bonus content like the Mummy Mailbag, as well as the Keanu podcast. You can also get access to the secret channel of Looker and Nanu Pics on Discord. At the $5 level, you can get everything from the $1 tier, plus an even specialer Discord role, plus a shout out on the podcast every week. And you can submit stuff for Steve Voice for me to read, which we haven't gotten a Steve Voice in a while. Someone should submit us a Steve Voice.
Yeah, now he's back. Like, he'll be back like full time. So
yeah, he's back, baby. Unfortunately, so
yeah.
Yeah. And then at the $10 level, you can get everything from the previous levels and even specialer Discord role. Plus, you can listen to us record live every week if you'd like to. And God, we really should also try to tell people when we're recording earlier than 10 minutes before as well for that reason. But anyway, we're valid.
To be fair, we've also decided sometimes, like, the day of recording what time we're actually recording.
Yeah, and sometimes we're like decided that we're going to record until 10 minutes before we're supposed to, and then it's like, do you want to just do it tomorrow instead? So
it's been tough.
Look, some people have mental health issues,
True.
and those might be us.
It
So
may be us. We may be having health issues. Some people may have been filming a short film in their parents' bedroom for a days at a time.
Mhm.
And that might be us. Some people might be working from home. Like, you know, it's not...
that could be me.
It's some mitigated circumstances.
Yes. I guess I should read the Patreon list now, because that's part of the Patreon. So thank you so much to all of our donors, especially our $5 and up ones, who are Alex Shoup, Summer Geist, Jennifer Snyder, Matt Ribeiro, Jess Ayalachi, and Siberian Pine Hardwood. So thank you so much for giving us money every month. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And yeah, we love to see it. We love you guys. So yeah, that's podcast this week. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Age of Oddish, and you can find me on Tumblr at Windfall Island.
You can find me on Twitter at Alex the Virgo. You can find me on Tumblr at Dork Phoenix, and on Instagram as Alex King Chuck. I changed my name.
Oh,
Thought, why not? Also, I need to be
Love it.
slightly more professional. So
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah. Also,
Mine is still just Ruffles, but
Ruffles is so cute though.
it's been the same for like ever since I've gotten Instagram. And it's really funny because one of my cousins is also Ruffles, which I didn't know for a long time, but hers has like an underscore in it because I made my account first, and I didn't find out for like a couple of years after. And then it's like, oh, I have the real one.
Loser.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many Ruffs in the world, let's be
No.
real, so.
No.
But anyway. Mhm.
But yeah, you can that's where you can find us. I'm probably most active on Instagram because I like pictures because I can't read.
I like pictures, which is what makes Instagram better than Tumblr, because Tumblr doesn't load pictures, so I don't post on there very much anymore because it doesn't fucking load anything but text posts and gradients.
Yeah.
So
And some of the things on Tumblr like shouldn't be seen by human eyes.
yeah, I mean, same with Instagram, but I mean, you
Yeah.
know. All right, well, thanks for listening again, and mohe every day, gamers.
Mohair every day, fuck cops, so long and good night. Kiss Keanu square on the lips.
Fuck cops and kiss Keanu square on the lips. Goodbye.
Bye.